Good morning. It is Wednesday. Woohoo! It's a little bit of a gray day, a little bit of a warm day. I'm not sure if you're feeling that wherever you happen to be, but it is warmer. And this is the time of year as we go into March, we're going to have some cold freezing days, and we're going to have some thawing days and cold freezing days. And so we're going to have this movement, this alternating. We might go for stretches at a time with each of them, but it's a contraction and expansion, and that's really where I want to go today. Because I had such a great expansive feeling yesterday from Tiffany's meditation class, which she is going to run again starting in the next session. But I was feeling very contracted for whatever reason, something personal that was going on. And through the meditation, I began to expand. And I think the idea is that we're going to contract and expand throughout the day, throughout our lives. But let's not get stuck in the contracted stage. The expansive stage is okay, but sometimes we need to come in and protect. So it's this sliding scale of experiences, and this is absolutely natural what's happening this time of year. It happens every year, and I think we need to learn how to go with the flow like nature, because we are nature. So it's called, in Sanskrit, the word like anything like that has a pulsation to it is called spanda. And it's really about how the universe shows up in us, and then we show back up in the universe, and this kind of contractive, expansive, contractive, expansive. So wherever you happen to be, if you're sitting, if you choose to sit so that you're tall and your knees go lower than your hips. If you would like to lay down, you can do this first part laying down. We will eventually go to lay down, but go where you're comfortable. Go where you're comfortable. And in today's practice, we're gonna play with this idea of contracting and expanding. We're gonna start with squeezing muscles and then letting them go, similar to what we did with the shoulder the other day, the pandiculation. But we're just going to do it lying down or sitting down, wherever you happen to be. And then through the practice, I'd like you to have your focus be, what does it feel like when you're contracting? What does it feel like when you're expanding? And can you feel when you're doing both at the same time? So wherever you happen to be, just start to squeeze your face. Go real slow first. Squeeze in. It's hard for me to talk and do it at the same time. But squeeze, maybe even press your teeth together. Don't hurt yourself, but squeeze in slowly. Hold it for a moment. And then slowly let it go. So we're not going to do this squeeze and release. I'd like you to squeeze and then slowly think of yourself. Your face is melting. And do it 2 more times. Squeeze. And then slowly release. I got my shoulders involved the first time, but I don't really want to do that. So just do your face 1 more time. Squeeze. Oh, I love the faces I'm seeing. And then release. And now let's add in shoulders. So scrunch your shoulders up. You don't have to do anything with your face unless you want to. So scrunch up your shoulders and hold them. And then slowly release. And then rest for a moment. Those are the 3 stages of pandiculation. And then scrunch up, feel what contracted feels like. And then slowly let go. I always close my eyes for that. 3rd time. And slowly release. And notice what you feel like. Sense and feel. And now arms, wherever your arms happen to be, you can make fists and squeeze all the way up, and even scrunch your shoulders, even scrunch your face if you want to. You can add in whatever you want to. Squeeze and hold, and then slowly release. Like the spring thaw. It's slow. Sometimes it's slower than what we want it to be. We can dream a little bit like we're going to be melting soon. Okay, number 2, go again. And slowly release. Notice how much you're contracting to. Is it too much? It could be too much. We're looking for that feeling, the contrast. Third time, whenever you're ready, if you haven't already. And then let go. This is rewiring the brain. And then let's do chest and abdomen, probably chest and abdomen together. So it's kind of a curling this way. You can add in your arms, you can add in your face. Curl in, whatever works. And I want to have that focus of abdomen and chest. Oh, we're used to this. And then slowly release it. Let it completely release and relax, even your fists, even your hands, let everything go. Number two, the more body parts, the longer it's going to take to let everything thaw in the moment. And then release. Third time, this is the front of the body. And then release and notice. Okay, now we're going to do the back of the body. That means a little bit of an arching. So you can still add in your arms and your shoulders and your face, but we go back this way. And then let go. Go slow, let go slowly. You can do this lying down or you can do it sitting. Again, number two. Oh, I like that squeeze between my shoulder blades. And then let go. Sometimes compression feels better. Maybe better is not the right word, but effective more than stretch. Do it a third time. Try to find where do you need that squeeze, that hug in the body. And then let it go slowly, slowly. And notice. Okay, now legs. So we're going to do pelvis. Is there a way? I'm going to move my chair so I can bring my legs together. My legs a little bit together. I can squeeze through my pelvic floor and draw my outer hips in. So let's just start with thighs. Just squeeze your pelvis and thighs towards each other. Actually, let's do the whole leg. So squeeze in from your pelvis all the way down, maybe even curl your toes. And then let them go. Slowly. And again, you can curl your toes. You can even engage your calf muscles, the back. If it's too much, you might go into cramping. So don't, just be aware of it. I don't want to say don't. Because if you go there, you're going to learn. You'll figure it out, what too much is. Okay, last time. Legs, pelvic floor, legs come in together. However you want to do it. And then slowly let go. And now, grand finale of this part of the practice. The whole body. So whatever way you want to do it. And it could be in a, like one of those morning stretches that you do. And then slowly release it. But it might be curled in, second time. And release. And then the third time. This is what we do in the morning, right? Noise, you're muted so you can do whatever you want. Go slow coming out of it. And then sense and feel. How do you feel here? Close your eyes for a moment and notice. Wow, that was a whole practice, wasn't it? It's amazing. I feel my heart. I feel like I have energy flowing through my whole body. I feel warmer. So now if you're sitting, come and lay down. You can have a pillow for underneath your head, if that serves you. Here's my friend. That's my little friend here. Okay, you stay right there, out of my way. Lay back on your back. Support your head if you need to. And gather up your legs. Gather up your legs towards your body, your arms towards your legs. And we'll just do a slow curl so your head starts to curl off the floor. If you need to, you can support the back of your head, or you can keep your head down. So something like this. And then slowly unwind. And as you bring down your legs, keep your left leg here in your hands. So interlace your hands around your shin or behind your knee, and bring your right leg down and stretch your right leg out. Everything we're going to do today is pretty slow. Everything, every day I do is slow here on the mat. I do my quicker, faster things in different places. But when I come to my mat, what makes it yoga is that I slow it down and I'm becoming more aware. So just take a few moments here. As you draw your left leg towards you, what are you contracting? What feels more dense? And what feels more expansive? So I've got contracting on my left side at the front of the hip. I've got more expansiveness happening at the back of my left hip. And I've got an openness, expansiveness through my whole right side of my body. So I could say my left is contracting more than my right. It doesn't matter if we know for sure. And then bring your left leg down. Bring your right leg up. Hold on to your knee or your shin or underneath, and then slide your left leg out. So we go slow. If you don't slide easily on your mat, keep your socks on for this part. And we draw in. This is not like we were just doing. I'm not squeezing here. I'm drawing in and I'm feeling the contraction. I'm helping my hip to stay, or my thigh bone to stay in this position. You can completely relax your whole left side, the left leg, left side of your body, except for your left arm. It's still helping. But this idea, contracting and expanding, it's kind of like we are drawing inward and then reaching outward. And that's what's needed in life. Okay, bring your right leg down. As you bring your right leg down, slide it out and lift your arms and reach them away from your feet. Doesn't have to be all the way down to the floor. You don't have to have straight arms. Just reach out and do one of those stretches like we just did. Maybe it's arching your back, and maybe it's pressing your back in. What is it going to be for you? Oh, a yawn or two. And then bring your arms back. Bring your left leg back. Slide it along. Draw it in towards you. You can add on curling your head and shoulders away from the floor. So here's the spanda, the pulsation or vibration. Come back down, slide your leg away, take your arms away from your feet. And other side. So just keep alternating this way. You can decide whether your head and shoulders comes off the floor or not. Find a flow and a rhythm. I've always said this is warming the four corners of the body up, the two hips and two shoulders. Hi, Sawyer. The drawing in. What does it feel like when you turn inward in your life? When you pull away with the intention of connecting to yourself on a deeper level, what does that do for you? You know, in a physical posture of curling in like this, you know, it's symbolic of that turning to your truest sense of you, deepest sense of who you are. And then when you expand, you take that and you express it in the world. We'll do one more. You can choose whichever side you want to do it on. And then stay here, stretched out, yawn, stretch, however you want, maybe more of a starfish kind of shape. And then make your way back to the center. Bring your arms back down. And then bend at your knees, feet on the floor. Keep the soles of your feet on the, well, not soles of the feet. I'm going to say, keep your feet on the floor, roll to the outer edges of your feet and let your knees roll away from each other. So I'm more got my soles of my feet towards each other. And then just start to tip your pelvis from side to side. So I'm massaging across the back of my pelvis right now. It feels kind of good. We did some snowshoeing yesterday in the heavy, wet snow, and whoa, it was a lot of work for my gluteus muscles right where I'm massaging. A lot of work. But I'm so grateful for the ability to be able to do that and the strength. And the change in the texture. Okay, so let this go a little further until your legs are still open, but one leg comes down to the floor. You can tip your pelvis right off the floor and come into more of a rotation through your spine. It might not feel like a contraction, but feel for a moment where there's a condensed sensation in your body and where there's a spreading sensation in the body, an expanding sensation. And then slowly make your way out of it. Because in most things that we do, something engages and something on the opposite side releases, has the opportunity to release. Okay, other side. You can play a little bit with, we did this before, more of a posterior tilt in the top leg. We use the visual of a metal ball, if that works. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Go from side to side, allowing your body to follow where your legs lead. All kinds of movement. It's all kinds of stuff going on. Muscles are contracting and muscles are releasing without us even knowing it. That's what's so amazing. But when we take the time to tune in and go, where am I feeling that contraction? What engages? If I go slowly, then I can feel where I initiate the movement. Oh, I got a little core work going on in there. I can feel that. Muscles turning on, muscles turning off simultaneously. We're so complex and interesting. Okay, next time you bring your legs over to the right. Right leg comes down, left leg comes down. Roll completely over onto your right side. I'm going to move back, so go out of the camera. So completely on your right side. I'm also going to change my pillow so it's a little bit higher. I've got a headpiece here, so it's going to look a little awkward. And I'm more in this 90-degree shape at my knees, 90-degree at my pelvis to my body. And then tuck your hand, put your hand wherever it's going to be supportive for you. And we're going to do these open, expanding movement of a clamshell and then close the clamshell back up. So feet stay together, knees move away from each other. Very tempting. I know it's very tempting to let your hips roll back, let your back move. But I'd like you to just focus on this part right here of lifting and lowering. Just your knee. Look at my hand resting here, adds a little bit of weight. Yeah, awesome. Awesome job. And now let's switch it. Keep your knees together, but lift your foot up. I'm going to add something to this, and it may work, it may not. As you lift your foot up, lift your head and shoulder, or maybe more just your head, away from the floor. So as your foot lifts up, we shorten and contract this side of the body, and then we lengthen it again. Head lifts up. You got it. It's an add-on. All add-ons, everything that we do is all optional. One more time. And back down. Now keep your hands where they are, or bottom hand where it is. Stretch it out here, I should say, because you had it tucked maybe. And now slide your top hand past your bottom hand and back. Slide it and back. Slide. So we're doing a little bit more of a contraction through the front of the body, through the chest. I'm going to add on and create the expansion. So we've got that little bit of compression, contraction through the chest, and then slide your arm across your body and reach back and up with your left arm and hand. So we've got the expansion of the chest. Then we slowly come back and think of this, all these parts contracting from your arm to your chest to come back down and slide forward. And then go back into the expansion. So let your hips go this time. Let them roll, go with the flow. So also what's happening is you've got expansion at the back of the body when you slide your hand forward. As you move your shoulder blade away from your chest. Or sorry, your shoulder blade away from your spine. I'm thinking chest right here. Let's do two more like this. And then back into the center. And then lift up your arm, lift up your left leg. Go slowly, roll back to your back. Adjust your pillow if you've adjusted it to be on your side. And then adjust where your body is. Come back into the center. See how much you traveled. It's kind of neat. Sometimes I just think we don't even need a yoga mat because it just gives us too much of a confinement that we feel we have to stay within. So notice here, stretch your legs out, be in Shavasana for a moment, sense and feel. Then bend your legs again, feet to the floor, soles of the feet towards each other again. I'm going to do something different here, and then we'll add on. So press into the outside edges of your feet. What needs to engage to get you to lift your pelvis off the floor? So just kind of notice that. Notice the moment before you lift your pelvis, what is happening? Where's the contraction? Sometimes it's not a big contraction. Sometimes it's big. And then slowly lift up. So contraction is when a muscle shortens most of the time. To get something to move, a muscle shortens and it brings two bones towards each other. That's the whole system. But sometimes we keep contraction in the muscle. So if we lift pelvis like this, I'm contracting the muscles through the back of my pelvis and my low back. And then if I go slowly down, I'm keeping the contraction as I'm lengthening the muscles. So I'm doing both at the same time. And then when you come back down, completely let everything release. And then do it again. You lift your pelvis up, contract through the back of the body. Great pelvic floor exercise. We've got the organs moving away from the pelvic floor. And we can breathe here to allow the pelvic floor to move with us. So inhale here. Exhale as you lift up. Just give it a try. Inhale on the way down. Allowing pelvic floor to release and soften. We get into trouble sometimes when we don't allow that contraction and expansion in the pelvic floor. It can cause kind of issues in the hips, low back, you name it. One more time. Exhale on the way up. See if you can notice the contraction in your pelvic floor. Inhale on the way down. And then go side to side. Let your spine move. Let your spine rotate. I'm keeping my shoulders down, but you don't have to. You can explore. Everything is an exploration, an opportunity to explore. And then the next time you go over to the left, let's stay there. Bring your right leg down to meet your left and roll completely onto your left side. Adjust your pillow. I'm going to come and peek at you. 90 degrees at your knees, 90 degrees at your hips. And we start with clamshell. So you keep your feet together, lift your top knee away and back down. We're going to keep the body very still. Imagine that you are right up against a wall. And you've got so little room to move. You can't lean back. I just want to feel that flow. Be the clamshell right now. that constantly opens and closes. Think of underwater, if that's helpful. Think of being on vacation and going snorkeling and seeing whatever you see. Oh, that's just teasing everybody, isn't it? We can go there here in our minds. Absolutely. Go slow with it. Notice where the contraction is, where the release is. You can have your hand resting on your right thigh. Now let's do one more. And then we'll do the opposite. Knees stay together and you lift your foot. So we're exploring movement in the hip joint. Can you feel that? What feels like, I don't know. It's not pain. It's not, it's muscle contracting is what I'm feeling. But it's learning how to differentiate that from other sensations. The contraction is good, especially when we start to contract the muscles that don't get recruited, and some don't. And we can add in a shortening of the side body. So as you lift your heel up, and lift your head up, and notice the contraction you feel through the side of your body. Shortening oblique muscles, shortening a muscle called QL, quadratus lumborum. Anything along the side, bringing the rib cage and the hip closer together. And if it doesn't work, you can always, hold your head up. But if it doesn't work to lift your head, just do your leg. And we'll do one more. And then come down and rest, notice. Let everything completely relax. That's the part we're missing. Very often we're missing. We jump from one thing right into the next and we don't give ourselves time to actually feel what we feel. To feel, sometimes I feel contracted today. I feel like I need to, I'm closed. Maybe it's something I just need to experience in order to be able to expand again. And that's often what happens. We just need to acknowledge it. Okay, so arms stack here, head support, and then slide forward and back. Slide, So feel the contraction, just really gravity that is contracting and shortening the front of the body. We want to feel the contrast of the shortening with the expanding as we open up this way. And I'm going to say keep your hand higher than your shoulder, so it's like you're reaching back and up. And then you can curl in your fist, you can curl in your forearm, you know, however you want to do it, but you're shortening all the way along here to come back down. And then we shorten through the chest. Oh, sometimes that's not a great feeling. Sometimes it's a protective feeling. Sometimes I think we hold our body. Well, I know we hold our body the way we are thinking, the way we're feeling. Thoughts and feelings are not separated. They're one and the same. Allow your body to rotate. You know, we're exploring this contracting and expanding, but we're also moving muscles. So we want to make sure we're feeling, noticing what we're feeling, and is this optimal to feel this way? Let's do one more. What do I feel like? What's this doing for me? Oh, that feels good right there. A little compression for me in the back of my right low back. Sometimes we think we got to stretch something out. Sometimes it's just a compression we need. Okay, and a slow release. So let's lift right arm, right leg until you roll back onto your back, just your pillow. Notice where you've traveled to and come back into the center. Let's slowly bring both legs towards you. If you have to do one at a time, do one at a time. And if it's possible, curl your head and your shoulders. If it's not, you can keep them down. And then as you slowly come back down, you're unfurling. You can take your arms overhead, slide both feet away from you. This is like what we did one side at a time. And if it feels like it's too much for both sides, then just do one side at a time. Slowly come back, wrapping your arms around your legs, curling up, and then slowly reversing it. Go into a starfish if you prefer. Go into whatever shape you want. Feel the contraction of the front of the body. And then as we go back, we're going slow. So there's a lot of muscles doing a lot of things. And then even when you get down to the ground and you're doing a starfish or you're doing shavasana or whatever you're doing, go into the opposite direction and contract the back of the body. Just a couple more times like this. This is what, on a fascial level, myofascial level, this is awesome. We're lubricating, squeezing, well, we're compressing bones. It's all good. I'm gonna come and see you. Last one. Yeah, take your time. Arch your back when you come down. Engage through the back of the body like we did at the beginning. I like that. Nice. And then come back into neutral after you finish. There's my mug from before. I bring lemon water into the studio. Now I have two, one from yesterday. Okay, just lay and notice, what do you feel? So far, we've just been rolling around on the floor. Okay, make your way over to one of your sides. Come onto your hands and knees. It could be forearms on a chair if you can't put your hands down on the ground. And in the same practice, put a blanket under your knees too if you need the extra padding. And let's go back. You can tuck your toes under. So go back as if you're going into child's pose. You don't have to go in all the way, and then bring yourself back up. So it's not a lot of work through the front of the body to contract, but we're shortening through the front of the body and lengthening through the back of the body. And then as you come up, you can shorten through the back of the body. That's like that. Nice compression through the back of the body, but not compression in just one part of the spine. So we've got flexion of the back and extension into hyperextension. And we've got compression or shortening of the front of the body as we go back. And lengthening, expansion through the front of the body as we come forward. One more time like that. Notice what's happening in the hip joints too. Swelling in joints that can sometimes feel really restrictive. And it's important, even though it can be challenging, it's important to keep moving. Okay, I'm going to add on here. This time, go back into child's pose, towards child's pose, until you can lighten your hands and bring your hands back by your feet. I'm just kind of hovering here, and then lift up. We're mimicking what's going to happen eventually in the spring. We're going to have all these little seeds that fell in the fall, cracking open and moving up into trees. So from child's pose into kneeling, a kneeling position, circling arms out to the sides. Go only, if this is as far as you can go without pain, go here and come back up. If it's too much altogether for knees, ankles, hips, whatever parts of your body, really saying, no, that is pain. I know that's the difference. Then do this standing. You can do it like this. Just lifting up and circling down. We'll go slow. You can even go underneath your legs. I just want to get you moving and becoming more aware. So either way, whatever way works for you. And one more time. And then bring your hands back down. If you're standing, just stay standing because we're making our way up to stand now. And you can walk your hands back, if this works, to come up, or you can walk your feet forward. Set your feet so that they're parallel. Support yourself with your hands on your thighs. And let's come up. Okay, have your chair nearby. Because you might just need it. We're going to stand on one leg. So I've got my chair on my left side, so it can be your right side, so I'll mirror you. And I'll say my left, your right. So stand on your right foot. Spread your toes as much as you can and create as much of a lift through your arch as you can. Bring your right or your left hand to your waist, top rim of your pelvis. And we're not going to lean on the chair if we can. It's there for help, for assistance. So if you want to just even start this way, you can. Start to lift your left heel away from the floor. Then your toes, get to your toes, and then see what does it feel like to shift so that you can take your left foot completely off the floor. And then bring it back down. So it's a different kind of contraction. There's a contractive energy that is being asked of you in your right leg to hold you. So do it again. Where is that coming from? Where? What is engaging? Is there something that's engaging that doesn't feel quite right? Like, is your low back trying to do all the work here? Can you spread the work out through that whole right leg? Okay, one more time. I'm going to add on, I promise. Okay, we lift up. Lift your knee up. Cross it in front of your body. Tap down on the floor in front. Lift up and come back. We'll do it 2 more times. Hold on to the chair if you need to. We lift up, doesn't have to be very high. Cross in front, tap down. Lift up again and bring your leg back down. 3rd time. Lift up, cross, and it's not a turning of your body to cross. It's your leg going across. Tap down wherever it turns and then lift it up and come back. Okay, change your chair side. Notice as you stand back in Tadasana, what your whole right leg feels like, hip and leg, because it was the standing supportive leg. So now we do the same thing on the other side. Stand on your left foot, lift your left heel, hover. We want to do all the same steps. So we want to see what happens when I hover, what happens to the sole of my right or my left foot. Oh, it's fluctuating a lot. Bring it back down. 2 more times like that. Hold the chair if you need to. Heel, then your toe. We're putting stress on the bones of the pelvis and the leg on the left side. We want to do that. That's a stress we want. So stress is not always bad. It depends on the situation and what it's all about. Physical stress, we want this. Okay, but we don't want it with pain. So activate your foot, lift your leg up. Here we go. Cross in front, not a turn. I don't want to twist the standing knee and tap down. Wherever you tap down to, if it doesn't get to the floor, that's okay. So think about what's contracting here. Hip flexors, hamstrings, then inner thigh muscles. You're letting them go, letting them back up. So it's good to do things too. I believe it's good to do things where you cross the midline of the body. It's good for the brain. 3rd time. You okay, Tiff? Give me a thumbs up if you're okay. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Okay, she's okay. She's sleepy. Okay, so just notice. I know I'm making you work hard today. And then shift. Chair back to the first side. You know, it's a progression. I'll give you time to rest again, I promise. So same thing. This time, lift. So left heel lifts. Really solid, working the parts of the right foot that are touching, which are the big toe base across all the base of all the toes, your outer arch or your outer heel and your inner heel. So the arch needs to stay away from the floor. We want to keep the weight in the outer edge of the foot because that's often what doesn't happen. And then we lift. We're going to cross, tap, and you can hold it here or keep it lifted. I'm going to show you from the side. You can keep it lifted and bring your heel, outer heel to the outside of your leg. So this becomes eagle legs. We've got this compression. Hold for another few breaths. And then release. Come back down. Okay, round 2. Same thing, solid connection with the parts that need to connect on your right foot. Lift up, cross either foot to the floor or hug your foot into your leg. Start to bend your standing leg just a little bit so your right leg starts to bend. and see what it might feel like to take your hands away from the chair. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe hold the chair. And then come back. Third round, I'm going to add in some really weird arms, but I'm going to show you them first. Take your arms out to the sides. So we're crossing the left leg over. When we bring our arms forward, so bring them forward, bring your right arm on top. And if you cross above your elbows, you're going to go up like this and turn your hands back to back. If you can't quite get above your elbows, you're going to instead bring your arms like this, side by side, and bend them this way. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Left heel, solid in the right foot, lift up, cross over, and either tap or press into the outside. Maybe you take your arms away, maybe you still hold. If you're here, one of two things, like this, or right on top of left. And feel the contraction you have through the front of the body. Feel the expansiveness you have through the back of the body, back of your pelvis. And then when you're ready, slow release. If you can, if you're holding onto your chair, you can hold onto your chair, but I'd like you to fly. I'd like you to be that 5-pointed star, if it's possible. And then slowly come back. Eagle pose. Now, are you singing? Fly like an eagle. Let your spirit carry me. I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Okay, second side. Notice first, notice and feel. If you wish to do, I don't even want to say more advanced, but if you have room in your body to go further, to come higher up and to come into more of a crouching position in this pose, go ahead and do that. Serve what you need as well. This is a gentle class, so I'm taking it gently. Okay, lift your right heel off the floor, solid connection to the parts of the right foot that need to connect. Lift up and cross. As you cross and connect, if you're connecting your outer heel, also bend your standing leg. So then we have kind of this, almost like you're tucking your legs in together like they're a puzzle. If you're doing your arms, we're changing the arms this time. This time, left goes over right, or you go here, and I'll show you from the side. And if you want to play with this, what does it feel like to come towards the center of your being? Maybe, I won't say close your eyes, but tuck your chin down, drop your head. And then when you're ready to come out, instead of just falling out, just hold on to the chair if you need to, but then open up and see if you can do this slow fly. And then back. Let's see you fly, Claire. Go for it. Nice, nice. Beautiful. Okay, turn your chair around. Last thing we'll do here. Take your blanket or your blankets so that you, or bolster, so that you fill in the space here. So when you come forward into your forward bend, you are not moving away and creating more space here like this, but you're able to connect with your front body. You want the front body supported, so you might need to go, look out of my blankets. This one comes in here tight to my hip creases. This one comes here. So I'm filling in this space, whatever amount of props I need to fill in the front body, so I'm not just floating or hanging. And then you come forward If it's possible, you can let your head hang. If you need support for your head, you bring your hands like this to support your head. And allow the front body to have a different kind of compression. So it's not necessarily a shortening of the muscles, although it might be a little bit. It's more feel your body sinking into your props. So as the front body is supported, the back body gets to expand. And so great to be able to breathe into the back of the body. 60% of lung tissue is at the back of the body if you look at someone from the side. But we often don't spend time breathing here. I think we've forgotten. We've forgotten what we're able to do because we live in such a convenient world of comfort. Another reason yoga practice on our mats is so great because it can change up the patterns, help us to see things differently. Three nice, long, slow breaths into the back and sides of your ribs. This is turning inward. Physically, you're turning towards yourself, turning towards your heart. The end of the 3 deep breaths, just stay here for another 3 breaths or more. And just contemplate what it feels like to turn inward. And then when you're ready, make your way up. Go really slow. You can go slow and roll through your spine if you support your legs or support yourself on your legs. And your head stacks right up on top of your spine. And then you can choose a pose that expands the opens the front of the body. So Shavasana, I'm going to say Shavasana is it. But if there's something else, if you want to elevate your pelvis for a moment, here's a nice option too. I don't often give this, but if you have 2 yoga blankets like this, go end to end with them. It's low, so it's not going to be a huge lift, but it's a supported shoulder stand, restorative supportive shoulder stand. So I've got my shoulder blades, the edge of my shoulder blades, the bottom of the shoulder blades right on the edge of the blanket. And I'm trying to get my shoulders to go down this way. I'm allowing them. There's the front open front body. That's an option. You don't have to stay here for the whole time period, which is about 6 minutes. You can certainly start this way if you want. You can finish this way if it feels like, oh, that's what I need. So I've got compression through my back body. I've got a shortening where I often have length. If this feels too vulnerable, then cover yourself with a blanket or come back to another pose that feels more comforting for you. And as you're finding your way in Shavasana, if you want to, do what we did at the beginning. Squeeze and release your body parts, and maybe this time do it from your feet up. Move from your feet and legs Just you can do it once or you can do it twice or whatever works, but go from your feet. So the last thing that you're doing in your shavasana is squeezing your face and slowly letting it go. We're doing a slow release and then a relax. Kimchi. Lay down. So you can squeeze your legs, your feet together, your pelvis. Hold it for a moment and then a slow release, letting it go. You can choose. Do you want to arch your back when you do your body, or do you want to curl it inward? And then let it go. Arms, chest, shoulders, maybe at the same time. And then let them go. Slow, slow, slow. And then face. And then slowly let the muscles melt. Perhaps a breath in and an exhale with a sigh. And just be here, noticing, feeling. Sometimes we freeze, and sometimes we thaw, and sometimes we crack. But as I said before, the cracks, we fill them in with gold. So we become more valuable whenever we crack. It's hard to be vulnerable and allow ourselves to go there. But it often will serve in the highest way. Hear the sound of my voice. And if you are able to stay right where you are, continue your thawing process. These are strange times we're living in, and I think we need more. We need more rest, more just being. We contract at the least bit of news, and it's hard to live that way. It's hard to live in that state. So let yourself thaw often and expand. So if you can stay here, stay here. But if you have to move, start to wiggle, whatever wants to wiggle, whatever wants to stretch, do that big stretch that you know how to do. Your body just knows it. And then a slow release. Some will say that pendiculation, that way of squeezing and then slow release, and then the rest is going to rewire the brain in a way that will allow your muscles to lengthen and have good tone versus stretching. So it's just a thought. Come up and sit when you're ready, and I want to leave you with one little quote from a writer poet, a woman named Anna Isnin. Anna Isnin. And you might have heard this quote before, but it's a favorite one of mine, especially with this subject. Let's bring your hands towards your heart or in prayer, whatever works for you. And it's this. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud became greater than the risk it took to blossom. I hope you blossom in the time you need to blossom. Thanks for coming. Namaste.